He's on leave. He took leave just before the end of the year. There was a police day event on the 28th. I don't know if you were there in KZN. Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was there. The minister was there. Never mentioned anything about the disestablishment of the political task team. Then the National Commissioner goes on leave from the end of December to the 14th of January. So he's not in the office.
To start with, Chair and honorable members, when you are a National Commissioner of the South African Police Services, you remain the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, even if you are on leave. Whatever that happens in the country is still on your shoulders. You're still accountable, even if you are on leave. Whatever that happens, you will make a call or a call will reach you. We all know that if there comes something that needs where you need advice, you will pick up a call and call the National Commissioner and we will advise you, being on leave. Even if it's overseas, he knows he's still the National Commissioner of the Police.
No, but you've got an acting national.
It's fine. As the acting National Commissioner, I will call the National Commissioner and say, NASCOM, I'm confronted with 1, 2, 3, 4. What do you suggest how I should deal with it? He will say, no, I suggest that you do. It happens all the time. He will say, no, I suggest that you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not easy to just say, no, I was on leave, I'll see it when you come back. The country won't stop. You remain the National Commissioner. Now, in this case, the acting National Commissioner is there. The one thing that is for sure is that the letter from the Office of the National Commissioner will never be disseminated further downwards unless there's consultation, whether with the acting National Commissioner or with the National Commissioner himself. If they did see that document, the National Commissioner said he became aware of that document on the 2nd of January. Even General Mkhwanazi says he called him and then he asked him, he said he didn't know about it. It is not enough to say, I saw it, but I said, no, I'll see it when I come back. No, no, no. You are the National Commissioner of the Police of the country. You are confronted by a document that is addressed to you by the minister. I will take a call. I will call the minister and say, Minister, I received this document and I still think that we can engage on this document. Can I come back? Can I respond to this document when I come back? It is important to note that the National Commissioner, when I took the document to him, it actually came from Rabie. From Rabie to Sebola to the National Commissioner. And the National Commissioner said, no, he can sign it. It's operational. He didn't sign it. Then from Sebola, she stood up, she walked to my PA and said, I'm printing you a document that you must just print. I'm sending a document to you that you must just print for the general to sign and send. That is why we have an email that comes from General Sebola containing the same email that the National Commissioner did not sign to my office to sign and send. So the fact that he didn't sign it does not necessarily only signal the fact that he said I didn't want to sign it because I didn't like the plan. No, the plan came from his office, the same plan. And I went to Sebola. And Sebola is the one who brought it to my office to say, print, sign, send. That's what we did. So the fact that it's not signed, he didn't sign it, it's not because of he was not in agreement. It's because he said, no, it's operational, you can sign. If he was not in agreement, again, why did it have to go downwards further? Should have ended there. And again, to say that, no, I said, leave it, I'll do it myself. The National Commissioner, firstly, is not that kind of a person that will say, no, stop, I'll do it myself. He's never done it like that. He would rather call you to discuss and say, hey, I don't think this is the way to go. I want us to put it this way or this way. Or he would still call Rabie, General Rabie, because the document was prepared by General Rabie anyway, not by myself. Now it would still call General Rabi and say, let us fix this thing. It has happened many times where we prepare a presentation on the CITs, on the cash in transit, where the National Commissioner doesn't agree with the plan. And I will call on everybody and I will leave us all in a room and say, guys, this is not what I want. Call me at 12 o'clock midnight when you are done. And you will leave us. We must now work and work it out here. There's nothing like, no, leave it, I'll do it myself. So whatever that we're dealing with is what comes from the Office of the National Commission.
Well,
must never send to me at any given moment. I don't know about it. And in my case, I'm running with a document that was sent to me by the Office of the National Commissioner on the one hand. And if the National Commissioner on the other hand started another route between himself and General Khumalo, that road, that document is not what I was aware of. And you can confirm with all the communications, it was never sent to me. So I didn't know. At any given moment, I was never involved. I was not informed. I ran with this, what I was running with as coming from the Office of the National Commissioner. And this is what I have. Nothing more.
Okay, but General Sibiya, we know from earlier questions, you confirmed that you knew very little, if anything, about the political killing stars.
Yes.
For some reason, you said, even though legally, technically, you're in charge of all these investigations, the detectives, you didn't know about it or aware of it. Now, you say you get an instruction from the National Commissioner's office. That is what you're saying.
Yes.
So anything that comes from your office, if it comes from General Brigadier Letoko, it's an official communication. That's what all of you accept. So accepting that's the case on the 3rd of January. But now the National Commissioner himself returns to office on the 14th of January. You go and see him on the 15th of January with this draft, with requiring his signature, and he says, no, I'm not signing. Leave it. I'm going to deal with it myself. Surely that is withdrawing, at least impliedly withdrawing any instruction to you to proceed with any implementation plan. And just to round that off, we went this morning, we looked at your mandate. I read very well, it's very clear that in relation to matters that falls in your sphere of responsibility, you actually act for and on behalf of the National Commission, including matters like this. And then it goes on to say, except where the National Commissioner withdraws any instruction. So isn't this such a case where on the 15th he had actually told you, General Sibiya, please, maybe appreciate your efforts or whatever in doing this, but just leave it, I'll deal with it. And then on the 22nd, because the directive is from the minister, is to him, not to you or anyone else, he addresses the minister on the 22nd and gives what you now agree is a completely different view on what should happen with the political task.
I don't think, Council, because we did discuss this even earlier this morning, that the National Commissioner never ever said, leave it, I'll do it myself. It has never happened in any situation between me and him since I've been in office. And if that was the case, or that is indeed what happened, the simple basic question to ask is, how did it then leave the National Commissioner's office on the 16th from General Sobola to me again? So there's no way that he said, leave it, I'll do it, and then go to my subordinate and then say he must draft a document that you send straight to the minister. And this must be supported by subsequent meetings. For an example, when you look at the 5th of March, I want us to refer to the 5th of March. If what is standing in that document that it was sent by the National Commissioner to the minister, but it is not what they are saying before Parliament on the 5th of March. There they say, no, the National Commissioner have received a directive from the minister to disband. There's been many meetings held in relation to that, and the political killing task team has achieved the purpose for which they were intended for, and this can be used as a benchmark, and we are quite comfortable that we are ready to then translate into the murder and robbery unit. That they will come up with an action plan, and the docket will be taken to murder and robbery unit. That presentation is different from that letter that the evidence leader is talking about. That document that the evidence leader is talking about is completely different from what the National Commissioner General Khumalo presented in Parliament. In what they presented in Parliament, they were saying, yes,
we'll come to that. Let's just deal with one step at a time. Because now you say you weren't aware of the National Commissioner's report to the minister on the 22nd of January.
I haven't seen.
He was required to report by the 20th. He reports on the 22nd.
I never saw it. I wasn't aware of it.
When did you become aware of it?
I became aware of it during the suspension, as I was challenging the suspension. Came from somewhere. It was the first time we saw it.
When would that have been?
Somewhere around mid-July.
So it must be your version that you weren't aware of it, because on the 4th of February, you write again to the Divisional Commissioner, Detective and Forensic Services. Again, the heading is deactivation and disbandment of the task team. And this is where you...
May I read paragraph 41?
Of course.
The National Commissioner participated in meetings that I have attended and supported the actions that were taken in relation to the disbandment of the PKTT, which processes have been detailed in my deactivation plan dated 17 January 2025, SB7, and which plan the National Commissioner has instructed me to sign. The National Commissioner never requested me to leave matters to him to deal with. I must indicate, honorable members, that I'm not able to access, I was not able to access the minutes of the meetings, subsequent meetings, because of I've been outside now, and the minutes were. But safe to say that in the National Commissioner statement that the Judicial Commission, paragraph 118, the National Commissioner says, in line with my discussion with Lieutenant General Sibiya, I also had a discussion with Lieutenant General Khumalo. I told him to prepare a report as contained in the Minister's Directive on the 31st of December 2024, and that we should aim for 20th January 2025 to submit this report. Since this was a direct instruction for me, it took precedence over Lieutenant General Sibiya's instruction of 17 January. If the National Commissioner says he directed General Khumalo and his instructions took precedence over General Khumalo, over my document, this means that anything and everything going forward takes precedence based on the instruction of the National Commissioner. At Parliament, they present and they say, we are handing over. We're handing over. And they handed and they came up with an action plan. In the action plan, I want to refer to the action plan page.
It talks about an immediate. That's what the minister said in his directive. Shut the task team down immediately disestablish it. What Khumalo talks about on the 4th of March, the 5th of March, again on the 27th of March, talks about a transition of the team. Here you ask on the 4th of February, you say, give me a status report and give me the dockets. Hand over the dockets. That's the difference, General Sibiya.
No.
And the National Commissioner's evidence was that he was in favor of this presentation. He was criticized for not telling the minister that your directive is unlawful, or I don't agree with your directive. But ultimately, this is what he accepted and not what you said, either on the 17th of January or the instructions you gave on the 4th of February.
Yes. You see, when we say immediately, when they say disband immediately, it does not necessarily mean that close the shop now, leave everything and go. It's not what it says. We can read, we can go through this document that is drafted. Remember, it makes provision for handing, it says case over protocols, a comprehensive handing over protocol for an ongoing investigation must be established and implemented in consultation with the Divisional Commissioner for Detective Service. This protocol should include complete case files, evidence. Now, I want us to go to the previous paragraph that says accountability. Effective immediately, all investigative personnel of the of the task team responsible for case docket are directly accountable to the Divisional Commissioner and Forensic Service until they are reassigned to alternative units. This personnel will remain responsible for all investigations and resources allocated to them until a formal handing over is completed in accordance with the established protocol. Do you follow, Councillor? Now, this was not immediate. The same arrangement applies to crime intelligence and other personnel who will be accountable to the relevant divisional and provisional commissioners until the final arrangement are communicated. So which means, if I were to read this whole document into the record, stakeholder communications, all internal and external stakeholders must be notified in writing about the disbandment of the political killing task team, the transition plan for ongoing cases, and the future protocols. So which means, when you read that all these key words, they're not talking like now. They say this must happen, this must unfold, this must unfold. It's a process, but it starts today, or it starts now, immediately. So that is what I was referring to.
Let me read to you what you say in your statement, what you understood the minister to mean. You said, this is on page 17 of your statement, paragraph 45. I understood the minister's directive to mean that the disbandment of the PKTT was to be given effect to immediately.
Yes.
As such, I communicated the directive to the team as per the instructions of the office of the NC.
Yes.
And we know from the NC, those were not his instructions.
No,
from the NC himself. You spoke about, okay, to be fair, from the office of the NC. Then you say at paragraph 46 in the last sentence.
Sorry, Chair. I want to say, when the chair say, when the evidence is saying those were not instructions from the NC, no, everything that I reacted to or responded to were from the Office of the National Commissioner.
Okay, then, but we're dealing with what you understood.
Yes.
The minister's directive to mean. You said it means giving effect immediately. And this is what you communicated to the team. Then at paragraph 46, you say in the last sentence, the minister's directive did not say disband within 6 months. or within a month. It said immediately, which means now.
Yes.
That's not what you're saying today.
No. I understand the technicality around that, but all I'm saying is that as much as we say, I didn't say they must start next month or in 6 months. I wanted them to start now. And when I say I wanted them to start now, I mean they must start the process now. And this is what happened. But above all, what then happened is what the National Commissioner wanted to see happening, the winding down. What does the winding down entail? The winding down or the phase-out approach is as per the approved plan by the National Commissioner. The one that the National Commissioner said, I approved, the one with the action plan that I just read, this one on page 79. This is what the National Commissioner approved, which is the winding down. That winding down is the one that gives effect to the dockets being brought in on this date. Now, they brought the docket on the, it says on the 17th, but the handing over was done on the 28th of March. General Khumalo brought the docket to General Sintumul. On the 28th, they sat with a team to do a handing over. So in my case, I never even kept any docket gathering dust in my office or locked any docket in my safe. I don't have a safe in my office nor any archive. I don't have. So it was just a simply misleading the nation to say General Sibia withdrew the docket, they called for the docket, they are not being investigated, they are sitting in the office gathering dust. They never gathered dust in my office. They were taken, as per the plan of the National Commissioner, taken to where they were supposed to be taken up until the Provincial Commissioner said, I don't want them. Then the next logical thing was NESCOM, they did inform the National Commissioner and said, General, the PC says he doesn't want this docket. That's when he said, oh, well, let General Sibia make a plan. Then we put a team together to make sure that these dockets are not delayed. But for that, we cannot put a team here from Gauteng to go to KZN in a place they don't know. And then without any budget, they need to be protected. They need accommodation. They need S&T. Now, we needed to have a budget application. That's when we applied for a budget. And we applied. We did mention even in the report that the PC says it doesn't want these dockets, but they must be investigated. And then we wrote, the National Commission never responded. Up until after I left, the National Commissioner wrote a letter that says, what are the dockets doing at head office? Some of these dockets must be taken to the stations where they belong as agreed. As agreed. Which means there was an agreement that they must be taken to those stations.
They must be taken back. That was the agreement. You had taken it away. According to your instructions, you wanted it back. And that was in line with your approach that the team must be disbanded immediately. This transition plan that I spoke about